Hey everybody, it's Ed O'Keefe, and I am super excited to be here with Kevin Marron. Kevin Marron is the founder of Gutter Kings, and he's got one of the coolest podcasts out there called Blue Collar Millionaire. I dragged Kevin onto this show today to talk about a mutual friend, Mark Evans DM, and that's how we met, right, Kev?
Yep.
At an event just recently, and as many of you may or may not know, I'm helping Mark behind the scenes a little bit just to get the right people into his coaching clubs, his masterminds, and really to help tell his story. Because what I found, and Kevin's gonna share his perspective in a second, is I think Mark Evans is one of the most unknown people. I've known him for 12 years, and I had no idea what he was up to. I only thought he was a real estate investor, so that's not necessarily my lane. So I kind of we never really crossed paths, and then some synchronicities happen, and next thing you know, I'm learning about all the cool things he's doing and all the people he's helping. And which brings me to one of his DM family members, Kevin Marron. What's up, Kev? How you doing today, bud?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be on here. I love talking about Mark. Mark's been a huge impact on my life.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear all about it. So why don't you just take us back briefly about yourself? As I've told you when we first met, I'm from a family of 13. I'm the only brother that didn't go into some sort of trade or blue collar work. And then so when I met you, I was like, oh my gosh, you're doing like generational, life-changing stuff for people because you don't meet too many people that went into into blue collar work that end up creating multiple millions. And now what I love about what you're doing is you're helping people discover the power of turning work into real businesses that can impact families. But anyhow, so just why don't we start off by you sharing a little bit about yourself, kind of your backstory, and then we'll lead into how you stumbled across Mark Evans.
All right. Well, I'm a blue collar guy. I started cutting grass, like 13, 14 years old is what I knew. I started right out of high school. I already had a business. I already had a commercial mower. It wasn't like some BS stuff. And I built a landscaping business. I sold that, and I got into gutters because of that. Super niche thing, but I saw the profit there, and I just grew that over 20 years. I got into real estate, and I thought that was sexy. I took my eye off the ball of gutters. I got my ass kicked in 2007. I rebuilt the gutters, and now it's in more than half the country. It's super simple. People are like, they don't get it. Like, all I do is clean gutters on apartment complexes and condo associations. But I mean, I would have to say we do more than anybody. I never even heard anybody doing anywhere near that many. I mean, it's just one thing. It's super profitable. And yeah, I started this Blue Collar Millionaire because there was actually a show on CNBC. They contacted me to be on it. At the time, I thought, I don't want to be on camera. I don't want all these things. I was so against that. I liked being kind of like kind of a rich guy in silence. I thought that's like a blue collar Irish type of thing. Like, you don't tell anyone, you just move in silence.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking about a lot of things. And so many blue collar guys over the years had asked me, how do you do this? What do you do this? And I was always helping them. So I thought it was really Mark, and just watching how many people he was reaching through social media and everything. I thought I could do this with blue collar guys, and they could get to where I am much faster. But they should also think much bigger, because where I grew up, if you're like making $100,000 in the early 90s, like, I thought you were rich. I thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
So that was my goal. And then you hit that goal and you're like, that's not really that much. And then I started thinking, like, I could make over $1 million a year. Like, why not?
Right.
Like, it's just a numbers thing. It's just data. And I wanted blue collar guys who were out there like working to say, like, hey, you can like make hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars doing this. Think bigger, and I'll show you how to do it. And now I just try to help people, and I write posts and answer questions, and we do a course, and so much of that is really I'm copying what Mark did. I can't tell you how, like, if I didn't meet him and see him doing it, I wouldn't have thought about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're relaunching the book Magician versus Mule. And what you're describing a lot is for everybody who doesn't know about it, you can go to magicianversusmule.com. The book's $5. Mark's pretty much giving it away. But the big concept is, we get stuck in these traps of time for money, like we think time for money economy. And so you obviously with Gutter Kings broke out of that.
Yeah. Uh, when I did it on the bigger level, I just really saw like I could get anything I want from just that one business.
Wow.
And I hadn't thought of that before. I thought I had to have all these different streams and I had to own real estate and I had to have a little bit of this and seasonal. And now I do all those things in addition, but this is my main thing. And I had an offer earlier this year that, I mean, I sometimes I can't even believe that. It was over $17 million. And
the exit, right?
And I didn't even take it. That's what I didn't even take it. You know why? Because if I had told myself when I was on my brother's couch in 2008 when shit hit the fan that I would be turning that down, I wouldn't have believed that. But I didn't know then that people who have $17 million businesses don't need money. They already have systems in place. They're not running around with their head. They're chilling. So I love it, and I love the cash flow, and I will sell it. But I did the grind. I did it already. So now I like where it's at, and I've liked where it's at for a lot of years. But that Magician and Mule, even then, I was making a lot of money in the business, but I was still a mule. I was staying up sometimes all night. I was a control freak. I was doing a lot of things. And that book had a big impact on me. And just really how watching Mark and when he talked, the way he moved, he looked much more relaxed. He wasn't looking at his phone. He was enjoying conversations. I was at a Tim Bratza event. That was maybe 2019. I got in his mastermind and Mark spoke there. And I was like, this guy is doing something I like the lifestyle. I knew he was making a lot more money than me, but it wasn't that. It was like, he's relaxed. And I was outside, like talking to people, texting and calling, and then trying to get back in the meeting. So I said, I got to do a better way. Then I read that book and it just had a big impact on me. And then I was already in that kind of atmosphere. And then I was in Tim's group, but I really wanted to be in the deal maker. I was like, I want to be around this.
Okay. So let's go a little deeper on that. So when you saw him at the Tim Bratz event, which Tim's doing amazing work as well. He's in the DM family. He's another person I want to interview to share his experience with the deal maker family. So when you first met Mark, did you give me a little bit like of how that transition into being a part of the mastermind, and then what were a few of your biggest breakthroughs?
Well, I'll tell you. So a year before that, I had gone down to Florida to see Tim in person at his event. I was following him on social media, and Mark spoke on the stage. So I didn't meet Mark that time, but I remember I was like, this guy is interesting. I don't know, just everything he said was just like, it was speaking to me. And I never do this. I'm like, I got to find this guy on social media, Instagram. And then I started following him. Then I got in Tim's group very quickly after. And Mark was his first event was his speaker. So Mark pulled me aside after it because everybody had to talk for 5 minutes about their business.
Oh, cool.
I didn't. Yeah. And Mark said, hey, my first business was a gutter business. I mean, there's not a lot of us, right? Not in a group like that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And we just started talking for 20 minutes. And I'm like, he had spoke at the event. I really liked him again. He was cool. And then I don't know what he said, something. And then I thought, I would like to get in that group. So I reached out to him, maybe 5 or 6 months later about coming into that group while Tim's group was coming up. And I got in it, and it's been super powerful. So 3 things that Mark has really taught me. So that lifestyle. So I knew I had cash. My business is bigger now, but I had a lot of money coming in there, but I didn't have the lifestyle. I was stressed out. I was working a lot. I had just had a baby, and I really wanted to be present, not just like, oh, I'm working 18 hours a day. I wanted
Yep.
to be present. So I was really looking for that. And Mark was the guy that I saw, to me, had it, and he does. So I really was interested in listening to. So I was read his book, and I was following his podcast. I was literally working and listening to his podcast at night, and I was just like,
Yep.
yeah, I like what this guy's doing. So he doesn't even know that, because I didn't really know him. I knew him that one conversation, but I was like, I like what he's doing. Then when I got into his mastermind, we had the first call. We do an onboarding call, and you tell him how much you're making, what you're making a month, what you're looking to do. And I felt like I was making a lot of money, but like you could almost tell Mark you're making $10 million a day. He won't even think much of it. Like, it's not that he
Correct.
doesn't think much of it. He just thinks, yeah, you could do more. I
Yeah,
don't realize.
I want to
Yeah.
hit that. Can I hit
Yeah.
that home? Because that was the one element of being at the Ohio Mastermind that we were just at with the Alliance members and some of the DM family guys, was there's no judgment behind that. Like, it's not a negative, like you're not shamed at all. It's more like, cool, how do we 20x that, 100x that? And it's not fake. It's not like there's certain speakers where you're like, it's kind of a BS like slogan. I had the same feeling walking away from there.
Well, well, that's exactly how I felt. I remember getting off that phone call, and I was like, yeah, I was like, that was really authentic. It's not that he thinks it's big or small. He's just saying, how can you do more? And he was giving me ideas, and we were talking about it, and I was like, man, this is going to be good, because this guy thinks big. And to be honest, I grew up in a scarcity, like a
Mm,
scarcity mindset. That's
yep.
kind of like how my parents were. Grew up with Irish immigrants, poor, and we weren't poor, but we had scarcity going on, and I
Yep.
had it. I had it into my early 40s. I'm 51, so I've been fighting that, and Mark definitely doesn't have it, but clearly he had it probably on some level when he grew up. It's like you can just say it in theory, like, oh, I'm going to change my mindset, but you really need to be around it. And I just picked a lot of it off of him. And that one thing led me to also start giving to charity, because that's another thing. You can have money, but I used to maybe give $100 or something, but I was making a lot of money. That's nothing. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden I'm giving $5,000 at his Cleveland event. And then we were raising the money. I have another 5,000. It's like, the truth is I don't miss it, but there is a giving muscle that you're like, you'll say in your head, I'll give 5,000. But when you go to put your credit card, you're like, I don't know, maybe I'll do 500. Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's how
Yeah.
I think. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll put $4,500 in an account for my son and do 500. Like, that's how I think. But Mark got me without even knowing it, just watching him. And he's talking about it. He talks in it in our thing. It made a lot of us give more. And it definitely did to me. And the truth is, I never miss it. And it feels really good.
Yeah. Well, the power of the proximity is what's happening there too. Like
Yeah.
we all grow based on osmosis of those that we surround ourselves with, which I wanted to ask you about that. So what has been your experience with I've been in a lot of masterminds, right? Over the last 25 years.
Yeah.
It's been like guru sits at the front of the room. Everyone kind of listens to the guru. Other rooms is you have some collaboration. Other rooms are people hold everything to themselves because they're afraid for competitors. What's been your experience with Mark's groups?
It hasn't been that. I know he has some of the younger guys in the group, and they're probably a little more intimidated in listening, and that's probably what they should do. But in the Dealmaker family, it's very everybody's collaborative, everybody's
Yeah.
helping each other. Mark's sitting at the table and guiding our conversations, but we have around the table, and it's great. And when I talked about that offer for my sale, everybody was jumping in with their opinion, but like, it's high level opinions. It's not your buddy at the bar who's got 6 beers in him telling you to take it. Like, he doesn't know anything. I wouldn't even tell that guy. But these guys were giving me really good feedback, and then Mark was doing it. But Mark also brings in guys like Ted, the mergers and acquisition attorney,
Yeah.
and yourself, and all these other high level guys. Like, everybody I meet through Mark is high level and somebody I want in my life. And to
Yeah.
give an analogy, people know somebody in their life who's kind of the opposite of Mark, and everybody they bring around you is the opposite. I don't want that. So that's a big part of it too. Mark is constantly connecting me with high level people. I like it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, hey man, I told you 15 minutes, so I can't wait to interview you about your full story. Everybody, I mean, Kevin, please go. What's a website they could learn more about you though, Kev, since you're on the
They can go on bluecollarmillionaire.net, or just go on Facebook, Kevin Marron. There's only like 2 of us on there, and they'll see me on it.
yeah, and they can subscribe to your Blue Collar
Yep.
Millionaire.
And yeah, that's actually another Blue Collar Millionaire Facebook page. If you go on there, Blue Collar Millionaire, I'm on there all the time. I comment on everybody's comment. I love it. It's like a hangout for me.
Yeah. And so my last question for you was like, if people are out there wondering, like, should they be in the alliance, which is, Mark has 2 masterminds, everybody. If you don't know, like he's got the DM family, which is currently shut or like closed. There's no openings, right? But if he does open it, it would be opened up to his Deal Maker Alliance group, which is the group that we're actively what do you call it? Enrolling new members into. We don't take anybody, but if you're somebody who wants to net an extra $1 million this next year, if you want to be around a mentor who that dollar amount is nothing compared to him, and there's people in the room. I'll have you even like add a few elements to this, but we have real estate investors, you have funding partners, you have business owners, you have people that are looking to kind of do what Kevin did, which is escape the time for money trap and own maybe multiple businesses and scale profitably. I mean, it's a very unique, diverse group. But you guys can go to markevansdn.com and you'll see at the top, it says the Alliance. Check that out. And it'll give you all the information on it, but it'll give you an opportunity to meet people like Kevin and upgrade your circle as well. So Kevin, I guess my last question for you as I wrap this up is, if people are thinking about being in it, maybe they're a little concerned, maybe they don't have a mastermind, maybe they're in one, but they're not sure if this would just add more value or not. I guess put you on the spot here, buddy, but what are some of your thoughts there?
Well, I think a couple of things, because these are some things people think about. The expense, and is there an ROI? Am I going to make money? The answer is yes. I mean, if you're in the DM Alliance, whatever is $1,000 a month, paying $12,000, there's no way you could be going to those calls, connecting at events, and not make so much more than $12,000. That's not even a question. So that's number one, and that goes for the Deal Maker family too, which is, maybe we'll call it the higher level group, whatever. Like, there's no way. Like, I make so much money off that without even trying. The borrowed belief you're going to get from people doing more than you, and doing things that not even more than you. Like for this, I'm doing this Blue Collar Millionaire. It's because I watched really 3 members in the Deal Maker do it. Mark being one, Tim Bratz, and another one, where I watched them do it. I learned, I copied, and then I just put my own spin on it.
Yeah.
So I got borrowed belief from them. That's huge. So whatever you want to do, somebody's doing it in there and can help you. Another thing is the network. It's not just the network in there, which is incredible. Those people's networks can become your network. If you go in there just saying, hey, I want to be valuable, I want to be myself, I want to be committed, it will come back to you tenfold. I just think it's so valuable for anyone to do it. And here's one other thing. I have tons of people message me on Blue Collar Millionaire and all kinds of things. When I know somebody's in the DM Alliance, I do phone calls with them because I know they're committed. I know, I don't care if the guy's 24 years old. And there was a 24-year-old guy who's got a duck cleaning business. I've helped him out, done Zooms. He's getting complexes because he's using my model. Like, I will help that person because they're committed. That's why I know anybody in there is committed. They're high level. They're trying to do big things, and I like it. So it's not for everybody, but there's no way you can't make money, make really good friends, have borrowed belief, be at really cool events. It's a no-brainer. No-brainer.
I love it. I could talk to you all day, brother. I could talk to you all day. So, hey, everybody, go over to markevansdn.com. We have the Magicians versus Mule book coming out. You can go to magicians versus vsmule.com as well. That book's coming out. And Kev, you're awesome. Hang tight real quick. And as I wrap this up, and I just want to say thanks, everybody. Reach out to us. We're here to support you. If it's not a perfect fit, there's no harm, no foul. We want to work with you and really see you grow your business and make sure that we're 100% confident that we can help you. So, Kev, you're the best. And thanks, everybody. Have an amazing day.